everyone, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I picked out this little cutie and I've colored up her skin in advance, and this is just going to be like a bonus hair coloring video. I don't have anything particular in mind when I start. I just decided I'm going to put in some teal, light teal colored highlights at the top of her hair, kind of where the curve is at the top. And this is an exercise in kind of just going with the flow. How's that? I'm making sure that each of these little curved areas, each segment of that hair has that teal highlight. And now I'm going to go in with a medium tone in the same blue-green family. And I'm following the lines of the hair in the stamped image, just extending it a little bit further and making sure I'm following kind of the flicking motion that I think works best with hair coloring. And I'm adding a few more of those little flicks, even in areas that don't have those lines, just trying to make sure that I'm testing out where the shadows would be on this little girl's head. And I'm going to be adding some of that medium teal behind the flowers because there will be cast shadows from those flowers. And I'm also just trying to make sure that all of those stamped lines are going to have that shadowing. Now I'm finding that adding those extra little flicks isn't showing up as much as I would like, but I keep going. I'm not worrying too much about this, and I'm just trying to add some flick marks so that it will look more like hair strands. And I think part of it is that I actually just really like bright contrasting colors and deeper, darker colors. I'm always impressed when somebody can do really pale pastel colors. That just isn't my style, I think. I don't know if it's a matter of my vision or what, but I'm liking this, but I'm not loving this. Ooh, and you see I've got a big dollop of ink that just gushed out of that ink pen. So I'm dabbing it off on a tissue so that it doesn't have that big glob. And I've also taken off the other lid on the other side of that marker. And I think that that helps equalize the pressure. See, you can see that I took the other cap off. And I don't know, I didn't see that anywhere. It's just something that I kind of devised to try to prevent globbing like that of marker ink. And I'm not too worried about this because I think I can go over that section where that glob came out with this darkest blue-green. And I'm doing that now. And I'm so lucky that I didn't do that with the darkest color because I think adding the flick marks with this dark blue-green really kind of hides the fact that it globbed out like that. If you guys are interested in the particular Copic colors that I used, I will list them in the description box below. And each week during this Copic coloring series, I have been posting the colors and grouping these coloring videos together on my blog. So if you're interested in that or catching up, those are all listed in my blog post. And as well, I have been making a playlist. So if you want to watch these later, feel free to check out my playlist of Copic coloring process videos. Now I'm just going in, and I think at this point I'm kind of deciding that rather than teal hair, I'm going to do black hair. And this kind of actually reminds me of me when I was younger because I used to dye my hair kind of more wild colors when I was in college. And my favorite color combination when I was in school was black hair with like a blue or teal undertone. So this is actually a little bit of a self-portrait for me. And I think this contrast, this stark contrast between the dark blue-green and the light blue-greens underneath really makes me happy. It just, for me, for whatever reason, I feel like it looks much more like hair. And now that I've decided that I'm gonna just go ahead and make this a brunette with teal undertones, my coloring is actually coming along much better. I find that when I am loose and comfortable in my coloring, the flicking is softer, rounder, smoother, lighter. So basically all of that is to say, relax, enjoy the coloring, go with the flow, and I'm sure your coloring will be wonderful and you'll improve. You should be enjoying this process, and if you do, your coloring will be fantastic. And now at this point, I'm adding the cool grays. I'm adding a medium or darkish medium cool gray and going over all the parts that I think will have the darkest shadows. Her part behind the flowers, in each of these segments of hair, I'm making sure the segments right around her face are the darkest, and then each segment of hair kind of has a rounded, brighter highlighted area. I'm accentuating this medium teal for the highlights. And as you can see, as I'm doing that, it kind of bleaches out the darker cool gray colors. So I'm reestablishing those cool grays back in again with that dark cool gray marker and putting back in those darkest shadows, going back in behind the little flowers, by her part. And I think adding those deepest shadows again really makes the lighter highlighted areas pop even more and gives a real three-dimensional look. I'm going back in right around her face, behind each of the sections of her hair, and I'm trying to get as light a touch as possible to get those hair strands to look nice and delicate like real hair. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful crafty day.